Come on, living stone. We gotta go on and on and on. Together we can make it. We gotta go on and on and on. Come on, living stone.
Knocks it through. Mullen bursting into the box. Josh Mullen.
Together we can make it.
Mullen's ball across, it's turned in! It's Pittman who's got it! Livingston leads!
Road is long.
Can they get the ball back in? O'Brien.
Lead! And Livingston have the lead!
Man, can score.
If we march together.
The full-time whistle blows and David Hayes celebrates! And the Livingston fans join in exultation.
Come on, living stone.
Livingston have the lead against Rangers, and they are certainly rising to a few occasions on their return to the top flight in Scotland.
Come on, living stone. We gotta go.
This week on Talk Livi, I'm delighted to welcome Challenge Cup winner, Third Division winner and Second Division winner Kyle Jacobs. Kyle, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for having me on.
Nah, no worries. It's good to have you on. Now, I mean, everyone knows that you came through the youth set-up at Livi with your brothers, but some folk might know how you all came about, that you all ended up at the club at the same time. So how did that all happen?
Well, the three of us, the triplets, Shell and Dev, we were all at Rangers before Livingston. So we were all under 15s, but we found out we were getting released at the end of the season. So my dad just said, well, there's no point in staying if we're not going to be obviously kept on. So I think he got in contact with someone at Livi, or Livi found out, and went to a training session the next day, and we ended up signing contracts for, I think it was Livi under 15s at the time. And then, yeah, it just happened from there.
And Keegan would already been at the club, wouldn't he, at that point?
Yeah, he was there from under 12s. I think it was. So he was there for a while.
And we had a very successful youth set-up at the time as well. And were there any players that you played with that really stood out for you and you kind of thought they're going to go on to have a very successful career?
Well, I think there's quite a few, as you said. We had quite a good youth setup, especially in my time. I think we won the youth league about 5 years in a row. But obviously you've got the likes of like Spark McNulty, even Lee Griffiths. When he came in and played. I don't think he was there long with the youths, because he obviously had talent for goals and was obviously fast tracked into the first team. But it's just players like that, and Stefan Skulgo as well. There's quite a few, to be fair.
And all those guys have gone on to have very successful careers, as we know. But you would go on to make your debut for Livi away at Dens Park, came on as a sub. Now, the result didn't go to plan, but it must have been a proud moment for you regardless.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, making your debut. I can't really remember that game too much, because I came on as a sub, because it was obviously my starting debut I remember the most. But no, it was good to get on. I can't remember what the score was, but we must have got beat.
I actually had a look, and all of a sudden I started getting flashbacks about that game. I think we were 0-0 at half time, and we'd battered Dundee 0-0. We could have easily had the game, could have been 3 or 4-0 at half time. And then we conceded 4 in the first 15 minutes of the second half. It was such a bizarre game of football. I just started getting flashbacks when I went and had a look at it when I was doing my research.
Yeah, well, I think the scoreline must have done me a favour, because that's probably why I got on. So that's probably a good thing for me.
And everyone kind of knows that summer was a very difficult one for the club going into administration. How bonkers was that period under Angelo Massoni? He is a swear word in Livingston terms, Angelo Massoni, but how weird was that as a player at the club at the time?
Yeah, it was crazy, because obviously I was just a young boy, just wanting to get into the game, and when they came in, you're thinking, it's going to be a good thing for the club. They're going to obviously put money into the club, try and get us high in the league, get us obviously doing well. But on the park, it started off well. The first team were doing well up near the top, but off the park, it was a weird one, because for pre-season, I remember they had the first team in a hotel in Livingston, and I think most of the boys were local anyway. So it was so they were having to go stay in a hotel when literally their houses were probably 5 minutes away from it. So I was having to visit my brother who lived 2 minutes away in the hotel if I wanted to go see him. So that was strange. So you can see probably why they lost out on money, because they're wasting money on hotels. And when it came to like lunches and that, we were having like 3-course meals for lunch and that. So it was weird. But at the start, obviously, you're thinking, "Oh, this is great. They've got money and they want to spend it and look after the players." But obviously, it didn't end up that way.
When was it you started to really notice that, oh, this is going to go tits up?
Probably when they sacked the manager, I think, because from what I remember, he was doing well,
yeah.
And then I don't know why he got sacked. I can't remember the reason, but he got sacked, and then it just started going downhill from there. We started not getting paid on time, and then that's when obviously the first team players started voicing their concerns and that. And I was obviously a young boy, and you're like in the background just keeping quiet, just keeping your head down. But yeah, it was a worrying time, obviously, at that point, because there was obviously the 4 of us at the club. We were all getting paid, not much, but we still had bills to pay, things like that, because we were paying for our like phone bills, even our cars and that at the time, or things like that for Keegan. So it was a worrying time for us as being so young.
The club was then demoted down to the 3rd division. Eventually, Gary Bollan took charge and was appointed manager as well. Did you feel this was a good opportunity for yourself to be able to break into the first team? Obviously, with the club having those financial constraints at the time, it would maybe put the onus in giving the youth a chance.
Probably not straight away at the time, because we still had a group of first team players that were under contract, and at that time all their contracts were getting honoured, which we were told. So I was still just a young boy, just try to work hard and try and get a shot in the first team. But the first season, I was pretty much involved in the squads right from the start under Gary Bollan. I was going to games, maybe not making the bench, I was just in the squad, maybe just going to games and helping out with kit and that to begin with. But I ended up getting on the bench and making a few appearances. So being demoted really did help, and it helped a few young boys.
And you went on to make 17 appearances that season as well. A fair few of them coming at right back. How did you feel about playing that position? Because I mind I coached with you at the time, and my dad thinking, Kyle's a right back. He's came into the team at right back, and I was going, he's actually a centre midfielder. How did you feel about playing at right back?
To be honest, I didn't mind it. During my playing days in the youth, I played pretty much everywhere. So going on at right back, I wasn't surprised, because I don't think I got told I was going to be playing right back until obviously I went on the park sort of thing. But it was a position I was capable of doing. I knew I could defend and obviously put a shift in for the team. So I was just happy just to get on the pitch. And yeah, it turns out I think I made my starting debut at right back as well against Forfar. So yeah, I was just happy to play, and I was thankful to Gary Bollan for giving me that chance as well.
I actually remember your debut quite well. I think we won 1-0. I think Robbie Winters scored quite early doors, but it was you and Keegs on the right hand side. Was that quite good for you, making your starting debut and your brother was in front of you?
Yeah, definitely helped. We obviously played in the youth system together. Yes, I mean, obviously know each other really well, so it helped calm the nerves. But what didn't help was having Big Temple up top for them.
He's an absolute monster, wasn't he?
And I think he peeled onto me every single time it went up for a header, because I was just tiny wee guys. So I wasn't great that way. But no, it was a good result, 1-0. I remember it well. I think I've still got the programme from that game. But no, it was good just to get a game.
At the time, as you say, because there was a number of first team players who were kept on from the demotion, there was a good blend of experienced players and lads that came through the under-19s as well, that broke into the first team round about the same time as yourself. Was this almost the perfect environment for you as a young player, that you had that good blend of experience and youth?
Yeah, definitely, because you had you obviously had the youth players that you were playing with the year before in the under-19s league who you knew well, and then you had the first team players where you can obviously look up to and learn from, like Liam Fox and obviously my brother as well. There was Joe Hamill there, all very good players. And then you had players that they brought in like Bobby Winters and Davy Winters. The two of them were unbelievable as well. So it was a good team, and obviously, it was a good blend, and it helped young boys as well to get some game time and to learn as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Robbie Winters. Again, I mind him playing as a trialist, and I think he just came over from Norway at the time. And even at the age of 36, he was still such a class act, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was brilliant. I didn't know at the time, but even in Norway, he was a legend there from what I've heard and seen. So for him to come to Livi and be that good, so it was really good for the team, and I think it was good for the squad as well, because he just brought that quality and experience, which was good.
The club would go on to secure the third division title that year. How special a moment is that for you? Your first real season kind of involved in first team football, to go and secure a league title.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good, to be honest. Yeah, but I think I was still a young boy, obviously just getting on now and again. So I don't think it meant as much as the following season. Obviously it meant a lot to me, but I wasn't involved, so I didn't feel like it was down to me. Really, it was more down to obviously the first team boys that were there. I was just there to learn and to just basically try and work my way into the team. So it was a good experience, and it was definitely a great feeling to win a league, obviously being so young as well.
And the tail end of that season, it's a proper Livi folklore moment. Midweek game against Albion Rovers. You managed to feature with your three brothers all at the same time. Can you confirm, is it a world record, the four of you being on the park at the same time? It's got to be, isn't it?
I think so. I think it has, yeah. I don't think I know anyone else that's had four brothers playing the same team in a league match. So I think it was, and I've not been told otherwise. So yeah.
When was it you found out that the four of you were going to one, be in the match day squad, but then obviously the four of you all featuring at the same time as well?
Well, I think once we knew that we were going to have the league wrapped up, I think in our minds, I think we thought there's a chance, because Gary Bollan was obviously going to start playing boys who haven't had much game time, or giving the ones that have played a lot some rest. So I think in the lead up to it, he spoke to us and said, look, there's going to be an opportunity for us to play all at the same time, and it happened to be against Albion Rovers. I think the three of us started. Sheridan was on the bench, I think. Yeah. Or it was me and Keeg started, and Devin Sheridan on the bench, something like that. And then we eventually all got on the pitch, and yeah, it was great. We won 2-0, got a win, and my mum was there as well. So it worked out brilliant for us, and it was a great occasion.
Yeah, it was quite a special moment in kind of Livi history. But the following season, we obviously got promotion to second division, and you grabbed your first goal for the club as well on the opening day of the season in a 3-3 draw with Alloa. What are your memories of the goal, Kyle?
Yeah, I think it was early on. I got told I was starting, so I was happy to start, and I just got told, just because I'm pretty decent in the air, just said, when you're in the box, just attack it. I think it was Liam Fox took the free kick, and I just remember seeing the ball come straight to me, and I'm like, I'm winning this. Just managed to get my head on it and scored, and then it was just an unbelievable feeling. Just to get a goal, it was just unbelievable, because it was so early on as well. So it settled me down, and it was just unfortunate we never got a win that day.
It actually opened my eyes. I think I remember vaguely bumping into Sheldon not long after that game. I was like, when was Kyle that good in the air? And he's like, he's always been quite good in the air, right?
Yeah, I think I've scored a few headers to be fair in my career. But it's just, I don't know, just timing and just jumping early before the big guys get there. So no, it was a good ball in, and then I just hope for the best when I headed on.
And it would prove to be another successful season for the club as we secured the second division title. You happened to actually score in the game at Steny that secured the title. What are your memories of the day that we secured promotion over at Steny? Yeah,
it was another great day. We knew we had the chance to win it, so I had a few family members there. And I remember for the goal, I think it was crossed into Rafa, and he's hit a shot or well, cross. I'm saying it's a cross.
I'm sure Rafa would probably say it's a cross as well, wouldn't you, if you asked him that?
Well, I wasn't going in, so I'll put it that way. And I just flung myself at it and managed to get a little toe to it and tap it in. And then we ended up winning 3-0. So I think we had to wait for the full-time whistle, after the full-time whistle, for other results. And I managed to, I think the other team, whoever it was challenging us, must have lost or drew. And we ended up winning the league that day. So it was another great occasion, great day, and another good end to the season.
There was a good. I remember the players all kind of being in the round about the penalty spot in front of the away end at Steny, and there must have been a good 5 minutes behind the other game. I think it was Brecon Fife or something like that. There was quite a long wait for the result, but brilliant scenes when we finally got confirmation, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a nice day as well. I think the sun was shining, so it was not too bad to wait on the results. But we knew it was going to be inevitable, us winning that league, because I think it was still 4 or 5 games to go anyway. But just to get over the line as quick as we've done again, it was really good.
The club would find themselves back in the first division. How did you find that step up? Obviously, you've gone from playing youth team football a season in the third, a season in the second, and all of a sudden you're playing first division football. How did you find that step up?
Yeah, to be fair, it was another big step up, because it was all pretty much full-time teams. We weren't playing against part-time teams anymore, where our fitness probably gained an advantage. So it was a big step up. I think the first game we played was against Queen of the South. I think it was 2 each. Yeah. I'm not too sure if I feel in it, but no, it was another good step up and a good learning curve again. We knew we had to adapt and do well in that league to stay in it. And I think we've done all right. I'm not too sure. I can't remember where we finished that first season, but it was a good experience.
Early doors that season, you scored a late winner against Partick Thistle. Was that probably the best goal that you've scored in your career, that volley? And 2, what is it with the Jacobs family? Did they just hate Partick Thistle? Like, you seem to have a vendetta against them.
No, I don't know what it was, because I think that whole game all I remember was I was terrible. So I was just kept looking at the bench going, I'm going to get taken off soon, because I think I was terrible that game. Obviously, it was 1 each at the time. I never knew how long it was to go. But I remember, I think it was Bobby Barr ran down the line, crossed it in, and it got played out to the edge of the box. And I think Foxy was calling on me to pass it to him. I was like, nah, I'm just going to hit this, chested it down and just hit it. And as soon as I left my foot, I was like, this is a chance. I ended up scoring. I got a big pile up from the team. And I think near the end, I think Ian Russell tried to kiss me as well. But I think that must have been one of my better goals outside the box. So no, it was another good goal, and I think I need to try and score a few more of them.
Certainly, you've got them in your locker for sure. But during that campaign, Gary Bollan was replaced, and I know Gary was very fondly thought of by both the players and the fans. What are your memories of working with Gary? He's obviously, best way to put it, a bit old school.
Yeah, definitely old school. Especially when he first came in. He gave us a mini pre-season in October, I think it was, when he first came in, and that's one of the hardest few sessions I've had, just running cone to cone. But he got us fit, he got us organised. He was just a good laugh as well. He liked to have a laugh with the boys, but you knew he was serious as well. I remember a few times I think it was Forfar away, we chucked it once. I think we were 2-0 up or 1-0 up, and we conceded late on. Gary Bollan, I heard him shouting, because I don't think I was playing that game, but I heard him shouting in the changing room, and he went to kick a bin, and it was one of those plastic bins, and his foot got stuck in the bin, and he's trying to get out, and you could just see the boys holding the laughing, but he was too scared to laugh because he was going mental. But it was one of those ones where you're like, better not laugh here because he's going to go at it. But he ended up getting his foot out, but one of those moments where you're like, we can't laugh.
I can only imagine how hard he kicked that bin, because I mind him playing and he had an absolute rocket of a left boot as well. So that poor bin.
Oh no, that bin was chucked in the bin after. But No, there was another time as well. I think I was right back against Ross County. I ended up giving a goal away. I think Ross County must have won 3-1 or 2-1 at the time. And I was in the changing room and he was right at my face, like pointing my face and like getting me grief. I was like, obviously I deserved it because I conceded a goal. It was my fault. And there was this marble table beside me and you could see he was looking at it. I was like, he's going to try and chuck this marble table. And he went to go and chuck the table and he's like, I think he realised how heavy it was. And then he ended up just placing it down. I was like, oh no. But I think he knew I'm not the type of boy that's going to make the same mistake again. So I think he went easy on me after that. But he was a scary guy, but he was a good coach and he done well for us. And as you say, the boys were devastated when he left, but it's just part of football.
You probably get the polar opposite when Yogi comes in terms of the type of football and things like that. How did you find working with Yogi? Because he's a strange one. With Livi fans, I think they got really frustrated. But when you ask a lot of the players, they loved working with Yogi. What were your kind of memories working with him?
Yeah, I think I'm the same as the rest of the boys that I've heard speak about him. He's one of the best coaches you could probably work under. He's all about football, getting the ball down, pass it. Obviously, it's fans sometimes want results, and then sometimes that doesn't work out. But for him, and I think him and John Collins worked very well together. Because John Collins, obviously, he was more fitness-wise. Yeah. Yogi was more just getting the ball down. So the two of them worked well together. But when Yogi first came in, I was thinking he's going to be this tough guy again, same as Gary Bollan, in your face if you make mistakes and things like that. But it was the total opposite. The only time you knew he was serious was when he was quiet. So it's that I had to get used to, because I was thinking he was going to be this manager that comes in shouting and bawling, but he wasn't. And I did really enjoy working under him. But then obviously he left to go to Hartlepool, which was another shock. But as I say again, that was just part of football again.
In the summer of 2013, you decided to make the move to what was then Premiership side Kilmarnock. How did that move materialise, Kyle? And how did you find that experience of playing top flight football?
Well, I think at that season, I was out of contract with Livi, and I got offered the deal, but I was on less money than what I was on. So I tried to obviously negotiate, try and get the same money that I was on, but it just wasn't working. So at the time, I think it was Sandy Clark and Alan Johnson at Kilmarnock. Yeah. And I just gave I knew Sandy Clark from when I was at boys club. He used to manage my boys club team. So I just messaged him asking for coming just to get my fitness really. It was more just for fitness. And he was like, sure, come in, train. So I had pre-season with them, and then I ended up playing a few friendly matches, done well, and they offered me a contract. And then it ended up only being a 6-month contract, but I thought, I can't turn this down. It's a chance to play in the Premier League with Kilmarnock. There's great players there like Chris Boyd, people like that. So I was like, it's going to be a great experience. So I signed and really enjoyed it, to be honest. Especially the start of it. I started the first 6 games. Don't think we've done too well, but we weren't too bad. I think we had a few draws, maybe one win. Then after 6 games, I never got played. I don't know what that was down to, but I ended up being in the stand most of the time. So I knew I was going to be leaving in January, but it was a really good experience. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I took it with both hands, to be honest, just because of the way it happened. I was only going in for a try, fitness, so I didn't really.
You weren't expecting to get a deal out of it, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was. So looking back at it, I probably should have realised how big a chance it was for me, and just obviously experience it a bit better. But I enjoyed it, and yeah, it's obviously something I'll look back on and show a few clips of me playing my body.
Well, it wouldn't be long before you were back at Livi, as you say, after that kind of 6-month contract. How did the move to Allenvale come about, returning to the club?
After Kilmarnock, I went to train with Hamilton.
Right. I
went to train with them for a couple of weeks, obviously to try and get a deal, because I don't think Livi were in question at the time. Okay. But then I was in at Hamilton, and then my agent said, look, Livi interested again. would you want to go back there? And I was like, I don't think anything was happening with Hamilton at the time. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go speak to Livi. And then spoke to Livi, and then straight away I just said, yeah, I'll sign. I want to go back. I enjoyed my time there. It's a club I know well. And yeah, I signed. It was under John McGlynn. So I was happy to signed. And then, yeah, the rest was obviously history, I should say.
Yeah, it would be a kind of mid-table finish that season, but yeah, your final season at the club, kind of typical of Livi, would happen to be quite eventful. Kyle, the club faced a points deduction kind of start of the season or near the start of the season. What's the mood like in the dressing room when that happens? Because it's nothing to do with the players as such. It's the running of the club, and you find yourselves with less points than you should have. What's the mood like in the dressing room and stuff like that happen?
Looking back, I think the mood, I don't think it, well, obviously it affects you because you look at the table and you're like, well, it's not the players that deserve that. So obviously you're looking at it going, like, it takes you back a bit, and you're like, oh, well, we need to go and win another couple of games to just catch up. But I think the mood in the changing room was, we're a good squad. I think that season we actually underachieved with the squad we had.
Yeah.
Because we had a really good squad, great players. We should have probably been doing better, but it ended up being probably one of the most enjoyable seasons in the end. So, and one of my most memorable ones. So I can't really complain, to be honest with you.
It was, as you say, it was certainly a roller coaster that season. Typical of Livi, there was a managerial change part of the way through as well. You mentioned that John McGlynn kind of re-signed you when you came back to the club. He was replaced by Mark Burchill. You worked with a few managers in your time at the club. Was the one that really stuck out for you as kind of the best one that you worked with whilst with Livi?
I thought they were all good. They all had different ways of wanting to play. Obviously, as I mentioned, John Hughes was one of the better coaches that I've played under. It's probably his style probably doesn't suit my game as much, because I'm not one of the players that get on the ball as much and try and pass it. But when I did play under him, the team, I thought, done well. But everyone I've worked under was really good for me. I know I did something to my game, and I really enjoyed it. So I don't think there was one that was really good, because I thought all of them were pretty good for me anyway.
Even though the team was struggling that season for form in the league, you did manage to progress to the Challenge Cup final. And you'd go on to lift the trophy as well with a fantastic 4-0 win at McDermott Park against Alloa. How big an impact did that cup win have on the turn in form at the end of the season? Because it seemed to go hand in hand, because we looked dead and buried prior to that cup final.
Yeah, it was massive, I think, because I think we played Alloa the week before that as well, when we must have drew 1 each or 2 each.
Yeah.
And I think we needed to win just to try and catch up on them, and we ended up drawing. So we're like, it's another game drawn, another game where we missed out on points. But came to the cup final and everything just clicked. We ended up winning 4-0. It was one of the best days of that season. And then I think after that we went on a run of, I think it was the last 9 games, I think it was, wasn't it? So we went on a run of about 6 or 7 maybe games unbeaten, maybe just losing once or twice. So I think that cup final really did save our season. Yeah,
obviously getting to win a bit of silverware as well. You've obviously won a couple of league titles. The Challenge Cup, is there one that really sticks out for you as your favourite medal that you've won with your time at Livi?
Yeah, probably the Challenge Cup, just because of the way of how we won it and how much it helped our season. So I think the first round in the Challenge Cup was against Hearts. So you're thinking it's going to be a tough one. We're probably just going to be there just to make up the numbers. But I think when the Hearts team at the time got read out, it was a young team. So with it, I think when it came out, us in the changing were like, we can win this, because the team's young. It's players that haven't played much game time, and we ended up, I think we battered them 4-1.
Yeah, it was a brilliant performance. I mind it. I think you might have assisted one of the goals, Kyle. I
think it was the second one. I'm sure I was playing right back.
Yeah. It was such a remarkable turnaround at the end of that season, and it came down to the final day. at home to Queen of the South, and you probably had your pinnacle moment in a Livi jersey, which was stepping up to take the penalty late on, and you slammed it into the top corner. First of all, when did you realise that you could take pens? And second of all, how nervous were you stepping up for that one?
But the penalties, I think it was Jordan White that was on the penalties that season.
Yeah.
Then I think he ended up missing against Cowdenbeath at home. And I think I said to Barch at the time, saying, look, I'll take pens because I've hit them before. I don't think I've missed many. But for some reason that year, I just felt confident. I had a side I went to all the time, and I just didn't think in my mind, I was like, I'm not missing any of them. So I think there was a few I hit. I think I scored against Hearts and a few in the Challenge Cup playoff games as well. So when it came to against Queens, I was confident. Obviously knew how big a penalty it was, and I needed just to hit the target. Luckily I did. And it was one of the best feelings ever, just to get the ball in the back of the net.
Obviously, you've won a couple of league titles with the club, Kyle, but how does that feeling of kind of avoiding relegation on the final day, all the pressure that comes with it, how does that compare to winning the odd trophy here or there?
I don't think it does, to be honest, because obviously you don't win anything for staying up, but it's just the joy and the joy and excitement of knowing you've obviously saved the club from relegation, and you're not going to be going into either the relegation playoff or going down. So it was a great day. The fans came out in the numbers, and we knew if we won that game, we were safe. Because I think at the time Alba were beating Cowden. So it was a game where we were confident, obviously, because we had that run of games. So just for it to happen the way it did, it was amazing.
And you would leave the club that summer again. Thoroughly enough, it was Queen of the South that you went to. Overall, Kyle, how do you reflect on your time at the club? And was there ever the opportunity to stay at the club longer than you did?
I think I did get offered another deal with Livi, but I think at the time I was thinking we'd just done well, won a cup, just stayed up, and I just think I wanted to try something different. I had obviously interest from Queen of the South, and I think at the time I was just wanting a clean slate, so I decided just to start fresh and go to Queen of the South. And I really enjoyed my time at Queens. I think I was there for 4 years, so it was it was a change. But I think for Livingston, my time there it was amazing. Obviously, played most of my successful years as a footballer at Livi, and it was obviously there was never a dull moment at Livi as well. So it was good in that terms, and I did really enjoy it. And I can always look back. Playing for Livingston with great memories. So no, I never had a bad time at Livi. It was really good.
And you did come back and play at Livi in your brother's testimonial. And classic of you, one of the rare players I've ever seen get booked in a testimonial. But that must have been quite good coming back and playing at the club again, because obviously you had such a good connection with the football club. Yeah,
it was good. It was good as well just to see a few familiar faces as well as some of the Livi legends. So it was a great occasion, obviously for Keeg as well. Obviously he's still there, so it was good just to have a day with the four brothers were in the same team again. So it was another good day for that. But even just to play in the same team as Keeg again was really good.
These days you find yourself at Greenock Morton. I believe you're club captain as well at Morton. How are you finding your time there, and what are kind of the aspirations for Morton this season?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I enjoy my time wherever I go, to be honest with you. It's a job that I love, so I enjoy my time no matter what. And obviously being asked to be captain as well was a great honour. So it's been really good. Obviously this season it's a tight league. I think it's one of the tightest leagues in a while. I don't think there's a team that you look at and go, oh, they're going to get relegated or they're going to get promoted, sort of thing. But I think this season,
you look at the league just now with Dunfermline sitting bottom. I don't think anyone would have had that at the start of the season. It just kind of backs that up, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You obviously got Arbroath flying as well, which probably no one expected. So it's one of the leagues that you just never expect the normal sort of thing. So it's a great league to be in. And I think for us, for Morton this season, obviously you want to stay in the league. That's probably the first and foremost. So that's probably one of the first aims we need, and then anything else above that is a bonus.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Obviously, it goes without saying that all of us on the podcast wish you the best for the future as well.
Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks for having me on. It was good chatting.
Livingston, oh Livingston, realize our vision. Livingston, oh Livingston, to the